Okay, so today's topic is making inferences. Inferences is something you do in reading, and surprise, we do it in math too. It might look a little bit different, but not as much as you think. So population is the entire group of objects, but usually people. Population is everybody. A sample is part of, cover up my work. A sample is part of that group. So if I think about Miller Intermediate, all the students in Miller would be the population. And if I just talk to Mrs. Relaford's first period class, that would be the sample. Now a random sample is a sample where each individual has an equally likely chance of being chosen. So this would not just be Mrs. Relaford's first class. This would be like, of all 900 students at Miller, I just randomly chose 15 kids to talk to. Some were boys, some are girls, some are 8th grade, some are 7th grade. It would be random. And those are the best kind of samples. And an inference, same in reading and math, is a conclusion drawn from evidence and reasoning. So what you know and what you learn. So hit pause and finish copying all that. I know it's a ton to write. So pause me, because I'm going to keep going. So here's our example. Jennifer made a poll in her homeroom asking students about their favorite subjects. The results for her homeroom are given. So her homeroom is the sample. If there are 810 students in her 7th grade class, how many can she infer would choose math as their favorite class? So when you see the words infer, expect, or predict, that tells you are setting up a proportion. So our problem says there are 810 students in 7th grade. We want to know how many like math. So on top is math, on bottom is our total. Now, from the sample from her homeroom, how many students like math? And it's going to go on top because math students go on top. The total goes on bottom. How are you going to find the total?
Victoria Romano,
yeah, you're going to have to add it up to find the total. So I'll give you a few seconds to do that. You can hit pause if you want to. I ended up with 30. So once you have this set up, you can solve your proportion. So I'm asking you to pause again and solve the proportion. Now the second part of the question says, if there are 9,300 7th grade students in the district, how many can she infer would choose history as their favorite class? So there's that word infer again. So we're going to put history on top and the total on bottom. This time, that is 10 history out of 30. It's still out of 30, right? But they changed our total. Our new total is 9,300. So go ahead and solve that one. I'm moving on, so if you're not done, hit pause. Is information from a random sample accurate? Information from a random sample is or is not? It's almost accurate. It's kind of accurate. It's not completely. So you could either write it's almost accurate or is not completely accurate. Or you can make up your own sentence. You don't have to take mine. But I'll give you two choices to choose from. And then tell me why. And I know this isn't a lot of room. If you need to add a sheet of paper, you can. Alright, so now we have data, just more data, except it's given to us in a box plot. So it says, based on a random sample of a computer camp, list 3 things you can infer from the data. Now this is not a word problem, so this is just us making stuff up. So there's no proportion, unless you want to make one. So maybe you could tell me the oldest kids at camp are how old? Maybe you want to tell me 50% of kids are between, and then you can pick 2 ages. You could say 50% are between 8 and 13. You could say 50% of kids are between 10 and 15. You could say any of that, right? You could even say no one younger than blank is at camp. So how old is the youngest person? That would be your minimum. Nobody could be younger than that, or our graph would cover that. If you have other things you can say, you can totally write those. Those were just some examples. Says the box plot shows the distribution of grade level test scores of 20 students in school A and 20 students in school B. Answer true or false for each statement. If false, rewrite to make the sentence true. So the first one says the median score at A is higher than school B. This is the median score for A, and this is the median score for B. Is it true that A is higher? Yeah, it is. The range of scores at B is less than the range of scores at A. So this one, I'm just going to look also, which one is longer? Is B longer or is A longer? If B is longer, B has a bigger range. So this one is false because B needs to be greater than or more than. And then the last one says 25% of students in school A got a score greater than 25, but less than or equal to 28. So let's see, greater than 25 to less than or equal to 28. How much is that? Is that 25%? Remember how we said each quartile was 25%? So we said this much is 25%, this much is 25%, this much is 25%, and this much is 25%, right? Between the dots. So this one is also true. Go ahead and flip your paper over. Oh, never mind, we did it all. Go ahead and start your practice.